This is NR2003 Predicts. We take the entry list of the top 3 NASCAR series, run them through the N ratings algorithm, set them up by their provisional lineup, and see what the computer says will be the finishing order on race day. Truck Series had the first crack on Thursday. Ty Majeski grabbing the first race of the round of 8, and he will advance to the championship for John Hunter Nemechek, Zane Smith, Chandler Smith, and Matt Crafton making up that top 5. Unfortunately, Matt Crafton, for him, he was already eliminated in the last round, and troubles for Grant Enfinger. He's involved in an accident. He finishes back in 34th position, putting himself in a hole. And in Xfinity, how about Jeremy Clements in his week? Got the victory at Daytona, had the playoff eligibility stripped, got it revived this week, and now he's a 2-time winner. Got the victory here at Bristol. Sheldon Creed finishes second. Might be good enough to get into the playoffs. We'll find out. Riley Herbst, Austin Hill, also in the top 5, along with Kyle Weatherman. A great run for him, and a lot of these back marker teams. Bailey Curry in 6th, BG McLeod in 8th. And now we head into the Cup event. It is an elimination race in this round of 16. Eric Almirola starting up front alongside Chase Briscoe. Green flag out here at Bristol. And immediately, either Almirola didn't get a good jumper, or we're quickly finding out that the top line is working better as Briscoe way out to a good lead over Denny Hamlin and Ryan Blaney following. Almirola back to 4th, and trouble here on the front stretch. Joey Logano trying to fill the gap, gets in the Landon Castle, and a big hit from Corey LaJoie. That is going to send both Logano and LaJoie out of this race. Logano going to finish at the back of the pack. He comes in here with a 40-point gap over the cut line. However, you can't really take anything for granted the way that this season is going so far. Get back on track, and we look at some of our stats for this racetrack. Eric Jones actually has the best average finish among the drivers competing tonight. 12.4 average finish. 5 top 10s in the 9 times he's competed here. And we've got another issue on the backstretch, and it is Harrison Burton going into the wall with contact with Michael McDowell. Denny Hamlin also got a piece of that. Going to be interesting to see how much he was collected there. It looks like he's going to be able to continue. And we continue one. Doesn't look like anyone's dropped out from that incident. Briscoe out in front, but he goes down to the low side, and Truex is going to take the advantage on the high line. Bit of a mistake there for the playoff driver, but at least he's learning it early. Kyle Busch, an 8-time winner here, and he's going to need some winning speed to make sure he makes the next round. He comes in here 2 points below the cut line. Obviously, that's a very manageable gap, but really, you can't have any mistakes. You need to earn some stage points and get a good finish. Kevin Harvick's in an even deeper hole. He is 35 points behind, and he is working his way inside the top 10, which is just not going to be good enough. He's going to have to get a victory here if he wants to advance. Oh, we've got contact here off of turn 2. Denny Hamlin turning around. Austin Cindric and Kyle Larson runs into him. I feel like that's going to do more damage to the 5 than the 2 car. It looks like he'll get back on track, but we'll see how that affects the 5. He comes in here with a 27-point gap. We'll note also that Ty Dillon has gone to the garage with a mechanical issue. Denny Hamlin working his way around the track 15 times. He's gotten a top 10 finish here and finished second at Kansas. Saw his own car go to victory lane with Bubba Wallace, and at the moment mired back in a little bit of traffic, but thanks to that runner-up finish, he is 47 points ahead of the cut line, so he's in pretty good shape, even though he's not mathematically clinched. Brad Keselowski not in the playoffs, but is a pretty decent runner here. He's put himself up in the top 10 for a good amount of this race. And here we see that aforementioned 45 car, Bubba Wallace, grabbing the victory at Kansas, second in his Cup career, first going the full distance after the one at Talladega was rain shortened. All in trouble here off of turn 2. Allmendinger puts him in the wall. Tyler Reddick involved. Big hit from the 8 car, and Kevin Harvick also involved. Some big shots for the 45. Looks like Allmendinger just tried to clear himself and was not clear going off the backstretch, and that's going to put Wallace and Tyler Reddick behind the wall. Reddick had a 2-point advantage coming into this race. It looks like this accident is going to put an end to his playoff hopes. Looking at the last time we came here, Kyle Larson got the victory on the concrete, that is. And Kevin Harvick obviously had some extracurricular activities with Chase Elliott on pit lane. Martin Truex Jr. is going to end up taking the first stage. Kyle Busch, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin will round out the top 5. And by the way, A.J. Allmendinger was involved in that accident that we just saw, and he still finished inside the top 10. So I think the 16 car is just fine, despite that big blow. Now looking on board Daniel Suarez, who is having a decent run here in the 3rd position inside the playoffs as it stands, and it's a good run for Trackhouse. Looks like they might be able to get both of their machines into the round of 12. Kyle Busch is working his way on the outside, trying to get the lead from Martin Truex Jr. A win would definitely put him through, but so would some good points, and if he can stay up there near the front of the field, he will definitely get into the round of 12. Here's a problem for Chase Briscoe, unscheduled pit stop. He's headed to the attention of his crew, and he cannot have a bad finish. He's 9 points at the disadvantage heading into this race. Christopher Bell is the only driver that came into this race locked in, even though we've yet to see a driver lock in on a victory, and he gets a big run to the outside of this line, and he's headed toward the front. We got a 3-wide situation here off of turn 4, and trouble for Cindric. Contact with Keselowski. Cody Ware also hits the 2 car, and this might be trouble for Cindric. Just like Reddick, Cindric came in here with just a 2-point gap over the cut line, and he is headed behind the wall, and there might be some more troubles for another playoff driver. Austin Dillon appears to have mechanical issues. He's headed behind the wall, and his day might be done. So we'll get back into racing, and contact here. Another run for Keselowski, and a big hit to the inside wall with Justin Haley, and now a big shot from Harrison Burton. Thankfully, less playoff drivers involved in this one, even though it looks like Denny Hamlin might have been at the front end of the 6 car, but that's going to take the 3 main victims of that one out of the race. Daniel Suarez looking for his first victory on an oval, and he gets a great run off turn 4. Martin Truex Jr. looks like he was held up by BJ McLeod, and that's going to allow Suarez to grab the stage win, and Truex is actually going to drop back to 4th, as Blaney takes 2nd, Bell takes 3rd, and Almirola will round out that top 5, with 4 more playoff drivers also getting stage points. However, some problems for Suarez, not car problems, but the issue of Michael McDowell has a blown engine, and he's getting held up on pit lane as a result. So is Denny Hamlin. So now Suarez at the back of the lead lap after waiting up for the 34 car. Christopher Bell had the lead on that restart, but now it's Truex doing exactly what he did to Briscoe when he went to the inside line. 19 car back to the front. We talked about Suarez, and now he's got some issues as he works his way back into the top 10. Talking about his teammate, Ross Chastain. He was 20 points further ahead than Suarez was, and fortunately, looks like he's going to be in good position here. And trouble for Bell, who led the way on the restart. He gets turned around by Ryan Blaney. Looks like the 51 car was slow in front of that grouping, so looks like it was just incidental contact due to a slow car, but that's going to spin the 20 car around, and he takes some inside damage. And now it looks like he's on a little bit of a run back to the front as he is working his way on the outside line. And AJ Allmendinger, remember, he was involved in an accident as well. Both of these cars up front have had issues, but it looks like the 20 car can shoot to the lead. However, Kyle Busch will end up taking it back over. We have not talked about Chase Elliott today, and that's just because he is not running too well. He has struggled with qualifying all 3 races in this round, and he is multiple laps down. It looks like there's just something wrong with that race car. However, it should be okay for him in terms of making it to the next round, as it should be for William Byron, who many thought might have some issues getting through the rounds. It looks like that is laid to rest as he is well ahead of the cut line. Starting to see some green flag pit stops. However, there are drivers on different strategies, so we're seeing Alex Bowman, Denny Hamlin, and Chase Briscoe pitting 20 laps ahead of these guys coming in just now, Almirola, Blaney, and Kyle Busch. So now everyone should be able to make it to the end on their fuel. And trouble here on the backstretch. Bowman into the wall. And a big shot with that inside barrier. Chris Buescher also involved. Looked like there was a 3-wide situation there that caused that one. It looks like Bowman will stay on the track, though. He is going to try to make sure that he gets the points that he can out of this race. Christopher Bell is holding on to the lead, and Kyle Busch is trying to track him down. However, there is traffic all over this racetrack. Plenty cars that have some damage that is slowing them down a little bit, and no one is able to catch up with this 20 car. Give some props to Eric Almirola. Grabbed the pole in this race, and obviously he's not in the playoffs, but having a really good run, trying to build some good momentum for next year. Well, we said that no one was catching the 20, but look at the run from Ryan Blaney. He is catching up with this 20 car, and he's going to make a move on the outside in turn 1 and slip his way through to the lead. You see the 19 car there, but he is a lap down, so now it is down to the 12 and the 20, and now Christopher Bell goes to the high side with just 1 lap remaining. Side by side, they come to the white flag. Blaney can't get the run, and Truex is going to help out Bell, taking that outside line. Blaney is not going to be able to get a run off of this corner, and Bell is going to hang on to the outside line heading through these final corners. He grabbed a victory at New Hampshire, and tonight he is going to grab a victory at Bristol. And now a two-time winner on the season. He was the only driver that came in here locked in, and that was just based on points, but now he's able to claim stake to a victory. Blaney will come home in the second position. Almirola hangs on for a decent third, and Kyle Busch will head home fourth. That should be enough to put him through. AJ Allmendinger, he was in a big accident on the backstretch, and he still finished in the fifth position. What a run for the Kaulig car. Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, and Ross Chastain, the other drivers in the playoffs that make the top 10. Great run for Trackhouse Racing, putting both of them in the top 10. And there we see a lot of the playoff drivers finishing outside the top 10, but inside the top 20, staying on track. Byron, Hamlin, Harvick, Bowman, Briscoe, Elliott, they just all fell laps down, but they were able to keep it on the track. Same cannot be said for some of these drivers, several of which were probably in a bad situation to come into here. Austin Cindric back in 30th, Austin Dillon in 31st, Tyler Reddick in 33rd, and Joey Logano in 36th. This is going to be a really interesting battle to watch to see who ends up in those points positions. That is it for NR 2003 Predicts. We hope you enjoyed the race, and we will see you all next time.